Hi, I'm Andrew. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I decided to buy a car in New York. I've lived in the West Coast all my life. I'm pretty ignorant about the rest of the country. So I decided, why not just spend some time, pick up a car, and just drive it all the way down. This was my general plan. That was pretty much it. It was cheaper to buy it in New Jersey for some reason. New Jersey, Florida, and Texas is cheaper to buy it. At first I was going to try to just drive a straight shot back to Seattle, but snow and other stuff. So New York. New York is kind of cool, as in it was really, really cold and it was snowing and everyone was miserable. But there were a lot of interesting things, and I found a Nintendo World Store, which I found out there was only two of in the world, New York and Tokyo. And one of the first things I learned, and I'm going to teach you guys about my trip, is be flexible to change. I got there expecting I was going to get a car and be right off the bat, but the paperwork and stuff, so I ended up staying in New York for an entire week. Another thing I learned, don't drive in New York. I thought I was going to just drive and drop off my luggage and be good. That is like an entire flat of a car trying to go into two tunnels. And then there's a crosswalk where the only way to get across that crosswalk is just slowly each by. So from New York, I went down to Washington, D.C. DC is really cool in that there's just a lot of historic stuff. You just kind of wander around, look at all the memorials, and it was cool. So I started driving west down to Oklahoma and Texas. And one of the ways that I save money is camping in my car. If you have hatchback, you pull down the back seats, you can inflate a twin-size bed, and you can just sleep in it. Another lesson I learned, because I was driving as fast as possible in Oklahoma, I didn't actually stop and look at a lot of things. And I was like, oh, there's this funny archway thing. That was like good, wasn't it? And there's this cool like little museum thing that I completely missed out on. So try to stop and look at everything. Oklahoma and Texas. Not a lot to say about Oklahoma except my friends live there. They have this cool barcade thing. And Texas was actually unlike what I expected. What I was expecting is all the stereotypes that I've seen in other states. I was expecting people with guns and the cowboy hats. And what I figured out is America's just full of a lot of Americans. It's just people eating at McDonald's, going to Starbucks, going to cafes, and just very typical people going about their normal lives. New Mexico, as I was driving through, it was just beautiful, but it was also snowing, so I was just kind of and there was just this interstate that just cut straight through. But then I found out that's because it cut straight through what Route 66 was trying to take you through. So I tried to look up how to drive down Route 66. You can't. You have to look up GPS waypoints and attempt to follow them, and you end up stuck, like there's a tree in the middle of the road and the road just ends. But the cool thing is there's a lot of cool signs that say historic Route 66. Just follow those. Like they touristize the whole area, so that's nice. Arizona is so beautiful, I couldn't even take pictures of how beautiful it was, probably because it stole some nice weather from California. But driving through Arizona, I was going through LA, and one of the things I learned is trust Waze. You will not get through LA without Waze telling you where to go. Also, Gas Buddy will tell you gas prices, and you'll know if you cross the Arizona state borderline, gas will jump up $1. So from LA, I drove up to San Luis Obispo, went to Firestone, and then started driving up along the California coast, which I now believe California is the best state because, oh my God, our coast is beautiful. A couple things I learned. Fill up before you go because gas is $5 a gallon along that route. Don't take turns too hard because everything will fly off your dash. And you're going to have to like only drive during the day because at night you're going to die trying to leave. Oregon and Washington, lots of trees, redwoods. Stop by Portland, cool city. There's bookstores and all this hipster gimmicky things. Another thing I learned is take a lot of detours. I had a lot of plans of what kind of scenic routes I wanted to take. I skipped a bunch of them to go to a Doctor Who convention. I also found a LAN party in Portland with all my friends from Seattle. And I guess my final lesson to you is a lot of people tell me, oh, I wish I could do that, or that sounds so cool. Well, you can do it, and if you just kind of look at like how to position your money and finances and things like that, and maybe you can't pay your cars, you can do it very cheap. Anyways, thank you very much. That is my time.